I used to really believe that everyone should try to do what they love and love what they do.
Yeah.
And I've changed my mind about that. Recently, I was giving the Princeton commencement speech for their graduation.
Amazing.
And I was thinking about it a lot before I gave that speech, because I was like, wait a minute, these are like the most talented, smartest people in the country who have everything at their disposal. And I know that even some of these people may not get a job they love or may never ever build something they love. But guess what? Everyone needs money to survive. Yeah. So the question is, and I want to hear your take on it, and I'll reflect back, is should you do what you love for money and love what you do?
I think this is big myth number 2. So if we start with, passive versus active is big problem number 1. Number 2 is follow your passion. I think the reason that this is so espoused, I'll start where I think the idea comes from and then kind of break down from there. I think it's because most of those commitment speeches are billionaires or very successful people, and they say follow your passion. But if we think through, what other advice could they give that would be socially acceptable? They can't say, I got lucky. They can't say, I worked, super hard, because people were like, sure, and so then it's like, okay, well, they're never going to get attacked for saying follow your passion. But the problem with that is it also assumes that your passion or your interest will never change. And I mean, anybody who's listening to this, just think about what you were really interested in 10 years ago. It's probably different than it is now. And if you extrapolate that another 10 years, it'll probably be different again. And so if we can think about the hypothetical extreme of a really successful person as someone who sticks with the same thing for an extended period of time, which is something that I believe, because you learn all the lessons you possibly can in a very narrow field, right? And that you basically try and make as many mistakes as you can. And if you basically, pay off all the ignorance debt you can, it's like you end up just succeeding by default if you just fail every other way. But if you try and do too many things, you never actually get to push the road all the way, trudge through the mud and get there, because you're only learning 1 or 2 mistakes in many fields and not many in one. Yeah. And so the follow your passion issue is that, number 1, the passions will change. Number 2 is that sometimes you're passionate about things that people don't value. And the thing is there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that it will be very hard to make an income that way. The third thing is that the moment it doesn't feel good, that you believe the myth that you should stop. If you and I were to talk about the business side of anything, there are elements that I love and there are elements that I hate. I see them as both required. It's just the cost of doing business, literally. But I try to reframe that pain that comes from doing the things that I don't want to do the things that I do want to do as the price tag required to become the person that I want to become. If we think about the traits of any person, so it's like if I want to be patient, then I can't expect things to happen faster. It's like, well, if you had to play a character, in a video game and make them that way, it's like, well, what would you have to put them through in order to get those traits? It's like, well, if you want patience, then you're not going to get things quickly. If you want to have endurance, it's like you have to be able to tolerate suffering, right? If you want to be wise, it's like you're going to have to get burned. And you're gonna have to learn the value of judgment. And sometimes that means you're gonna get betrayed in order to learn that pattern. And so it's like we lament the price tag for the things that we want. And I think that, at least for me, my ultimate long-term goal is just to become the person that the best version of me, right? And I think that in order for that to happen, I will have to go through pain. And so the follow your passion moniker also creates this emotionality that gets you to quit when you really are on the right path. And this is just part of it. And so I think those are probably the big 3 that I think about when it comes to why follow your passion doesn't serve most people. And the other, I would say bonus 4th, might be that you might be really good at something and people are very willing to exchange money for that thing. And it doesn't mean that you actually have to do the thing that you work on, that you make money on, all the hours of the day. You can work for 20 or 30 hours a week and then have the other 120 to do whatever you want, 130 to do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's the reason I asked it. And I think even the advice, follow your passion, doesn't mean focus on your passion.